2015 is by taking a look at our New Year's selections, brought to you by Chevrolet. And I know there's a full day and it's an important day in college football, but as we start making some picks here, which will ultimately culminate with Lee Corso donning a headgear, let's go into the future a little bit. On January 2nd, Iowa taking on Tennessee in the Tax Slayer Bowl. Butch Jones getting his team to the postseason. Iowa finishing with a bit of a disappointment. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'm wondering just how inspired Tennessee is to be in this game and if they really respect Iowa. So I think Iowa's going to come out and they're going to play inspired football, but I think at the end, Tennessee will be too much for the Hawkeyes. I got Tennessee beating Iowa in a close one.
Tennessee has not won a bowl game in 7 years.
Wow.
Wow. So I'm going with Tennessee.
There you go. Good for
That's
Yeah, that's a good one.
Why not?
Yeah, I think Iowa, again, it's one of these teams that I think Tennessee, they are motivated to play in this bowl game. They're excited about Butch Jones and their future. But I think Iowa's a better team than you might think. I think Iowa's physical enough to be able to hold up. This is still a young Tennessee team. There's some experience on Iowa's side. I'll go with the Hawkeyes there.
Also in a game tomorrow, the Valero Alamo Bowl. A lot of people thought UCLA would be in the playoff. Bruins taking on Kansas State.
You have to wonder about their disappointment, the season that they had. They're not in the playoff. I picked them to be in the playoffs, so they coach me. I still think that they're a good team. I have UCLA winning the game.
They finally win a big game. UCLA, come on, one more
there
game.
That's your story, you guys.
You have to.
Jim Moore is being rumored with some head coaching jobs in the NFL. I'm not saying that could be a distraction, but you never know. Kansas State, it's just, what you're going to get with Kansas State and Bill Snyder. And I'm going to go with Jake Waters and the Wildcats to knock off UCLA.
It's good.
Now back to today, later this afternoon on ABC, Missouri and Minnesota square off in the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl.
I like Missouri. I like their defense. I think that Matty Mock, the quarterback, is going to play well. He's going to make some throws down the field. And I think that Minnesota will run the ball effectively, but not enough. Another close game, but the Missouri Tigers will prevail.
Not so fast, my friend. Listen to this one. Missouri has not played a game on January 1st in 52 years.
Whoa!
52 years they haven't had. I'm picking Minnesota.
Yeah,
upset.
okay.
52 years.
52 years?
Yes.
Minnesota here for the first time.
You're going with that trend that they're breaking. That's your reasoning for these wins. I'm going to go with Missouri. I just think that their defense is athletic. I think they can get pressure. I also think that they're going to score some points here. So I like Missouri over Minnesota.
At the bottom of the hour, the last New Year's Six game prior to the college football playoff semifinals game. It'll be the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. We've seen a lot from inside the stadium. Baylor, Michigan State. It was chippy in the pregame.
Exactly. I like
Who's
that.
chippy by the end?
That's a good look to see both teams kind of chippy. You know that both teams really want to be here and they're inspired to play in the game. I just think that when you look at what happened yesterday with TCU and the way they just annihilated Ole Miss, I'm thinking Baylor's at home watching that game saying we have to go out and make a statement because the latter part of the season, Baylor was always compared to TCU and people thought TCU was the better team. This is Baylor's opportunity to come out here and try to make a statement, but against a better team in my opinion. I got the Baylor Bears in the close one.
Forget about it. Michigan State has won 3 bowl games in a row. Do you know that? Upset. Michigan State upsets them.
I love your reasoning. You're all over that. I think Michigan State's a more complete team than Baylor. I think they have the defense. I think they have the offense. Connor Cook, I think, today has an opportunity to go head-to-head with a friend of his and Bryce Petty. I think Michigan State, there's going to be some points, scored in this game. I think Michigan State will end up outscoring Baylor. Good pick.
So that comes up at the bottom of the hour, just a few minutes away, Michigan State and Baylor. But this is the dawning of a new era, a day for the mammoth games. College football playoff semifinal. The second one will be Alabama and Ohio State, played in prime time in New Orleans here on ESPN. And despite their combined history, standards of excellence, and tradition of winning, it's not a stretch to say that both Alabama and Ohio State a little bit of a stretch to be in the college football playoff. Alabama had to replace leaders, a quarterback that no one believed in. Well documented that Ohio State is on its third quarterback and still a young team, and many would say just getting here have the Buckeyes ahead of schedule.
The future is very bright here. This would just, it would be a program builder for us.
I think as a competitor, you like the challenge of playing against a really, really good team.
It's not like another bowl game. I mean, you got to go out and give this one your all just so you can get to the next one.
Last few years, we set the standard for how college football should be played, and everybody want to come out and beat Bama. Everyone always is talking about how, the SEC is so great. We play football up here too.
We're just ready to play. We're ready to see what Ohio brings us, and we're ready to see what we can bring them.
Now you wonder, was that a slip of the tongue, or was Blake Sims channeling his inner Brady Hoke? I'm betting on slip of the tongue. Alabama's about a touchdown favorite, a little bit more. So in the All-State Sugar Bowl tonight, David Pollack, Andy Cannell, and Mac Brown join us. David, who's going to win the Sugar Bowl?
Yeah, the Ohio reference there, Reese. I liked it. When you look at this game, I tell you what, I think Ohio State's a year ahead of schedule. I think they're right about that. I think next year they'll be my preseason #1 team with all they have coming back. But Alabama this year, too big in the trenches, too physical up front. I think Alabama wins the ball game.
Two of the most talented teams in the country, maybe the two best coach teams in the country. Both of them had great years. I'm going with the older quarterback, though. It's hard to win with your third quarterback. I'm going Alabama.
I was really tempted to switch this pick after watching the disaster unfold for the SEC West the last couple of days, but ultimately Alabama, as they've been the last 4 or 5 years, they're another class in the rest of the SEC, even the SEC West. I don't trust Cardale Jones in his second start ever to go up against a Nick Saban defense with extended time. I think it could get ugly, too. I think Alabama wins comfortably.
All right, so it's a clean sweep up top for Alabama. What say you?
I think that Cardale Jones is going to be stressed mentally and physically. He's never been in that situation. It's 5 quarters of football. He's never had to play from behind and felt the stress of going out there and leading his team to a score that is either going to lead this team or either tie a game. He's always played ahead. I think this is going to be a game where he's going to be stressed physically with the blitz. I have Alabama beating Ohio State.
Good pick. Good pick.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
picking Alabama in their balanced offense to outscore the Buckeyes by a touchdown, an extra point, and a field goal.
I think what David said is right. Reese, you indicated this as well. Urban Meyer has been trying to rebuild Ohio State to get them to compete with Alabama. He may be a year ahead of schedule right now, the fact that he got his team into this game. I would argue this is the best coaching job he's done as a head coach, getting a team to this point in a season. If J.T. Barrett were quarterbacking this team, I'd probably pick Ohio State to win the game. But with Cardale Jones, just because of the unknown, how will he perform against a great coach in this setting? I'm going with Alabama as well.
Everybody with Alabama across the board. And now the game we'll see here in the Rose Bowl this afternoon, Oregon and Florida State. 29 in a row for the Seminoles, some bordering on impossible. But it's as if Florida State has a near pathological fear of losing. Oregon has been bolstered by how it responded to a loss and made their way into this college football playoff semifinal. So, is it the momentum or is it the response? Both of these teams are ready for the showdown.
If you hate losing more than you like winning, I mean, that's a big reason why we just refuse to lose.
We're playing a team that's 29 straight games that they won, and they obviously know how to finish.
We're just going to fight to the end for each other, and we always feel like we're going to win the game.
We know if we're down at the beginning, we know we can play better than that, and we know we still got a chance because we've done it so many times.
They're never down and out. They always come back and an opportunity to play one of the best teams in the country and see where you suck up.
It just was such to get this far and not finish.
Well, now that sums it up pretty nicely, David. What do you say?
I tell you what, Oregon's done a great job dealing with all the injuries this season. I haven't seen Florida State lose. They're still 29-0 in their last 29 games with Jameis Winston. I think the red zone is the area where the field shrinks, and I think FSU holds them to field goals more than touchdowns, and I think that decides this game, and I think Florida State wins their 30th in a row.
Got the two best quarterbacks in the country, and how much fun is that going to be for us to watch today? And then all of a sudden you've got maybe the two best freshman running backs in the country, and that may decide the game. But I don't think Florida State's defense has played well enough to hold up against that fast-paced offense at Oregon, so I'm going with the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Florida State scoring points offensively. I'm worried about their defense slowing down Marcus Mariota and company. You've got two outstanding quarterbacks, but I'm going to go with the best player in the country who's done it for 60 minutes every game this season, Marcus Mariota and the Ducks. I think they're going to win this game in a close one. Comes down to the end. Florida State's always been entertaining. I'm going to go with the Ducks, and now I'm going to go deal with FSU Twitter.
He's strong. He's strong, man. Kirk's going to call the game this afternoon with Chris Fowler, so you won't make a pick. Give me a key.
If you look at these two teams on paper and you look at them in practice, it's a mismatch up front, favoring Florida State's front seven. I think tempo's got to be an equalizer, which it always seems to be for Oregon. So can they crank the tempo, get that Florida State defense huffing and puffing, and then start to execute and be able to put big points up on the board?
I think the Seminoles defense will surprise some people. I think they're going to limit Mariota's runs. This is probably the most athletic defense he's faced all year, so he's not going to be able to just go out there and run without guys closing the space on him much quicker than he's used to. Jameis Winston, a great pocket passer. I have Florida State winning a close one.
Well, it's my turn, right?
Yeah,
You're
on. Alma mater.
Give me that duck.
That's it.
There it is.
The duck call. And the Ducks going against the Alma Mater.
The duck is in the way.
Happy New Year.
How about this?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Both Horseshoe and Cannell going against the Alma Mater.
Wow.
Fifth Street also going against the Alma Mater. How are you guys going to be accused of bias if you keep doing things like that?
Well, just do your analysis and see
Go
what you
Ducks.
think.
I am disappointed there's not a live duck here. Maybe next time I want some type of live duck.
Exactly.
Take it away, bud.
Close.